What's up, everybody? I'm here with Tom Thakkar. Thank you so much for joining Hot Pizza Ass. I'm stoked to have you on. I was just telling Tom that it's weird because I normally have guests that I know or that I've met once before. I think you might be the first guest that I've never ever met until right now.
Sure. No, I'm so honored to be the first, and I'm assuming I probably won't be the last, given the nature of the world. You're probably gonna have to start branching out to strangers who, I worry about this that we're just gonna run out of people now that do comedy. What if this is the end? I don't know. That's not really a concern, but nonetheless, I'm very honored to be here and to do the podcast.
Yeah, and I reached out to you because, in this time of gloom and doom, I first of all really loved your Comedy Central special. I thought it was very funny.
Oh, thank you so much for watching it.
No, of course. And I also really enjoy your quarantine tweets. Your toilet papering your own house is the ultimate flex. Made me laugh really hard.
Thank you so much. I forgot about that one, and I
Oh,
need to post it on Insta. I feel so desperate with content right now, where it's like I've started posting most of my tweets just because I'm like I gotta milk all this content for all it's worth because I'm so desperate for attention in this fucking quarantine time.
yeah, I mean, I'm doing the same thing, but I kind of feel like it's a good move to post your tweets every now and then. I mean, I was
I
doing
know. I
quarantine,
didn't do it
so
for so long, and then it's like I have a whole thing. I don't know if this is interesting to people at all, but it's like I think that I was around people who were very judgmental of how people act on social media, and one thing I had heard people bitch about was people posting the same things on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and I was like, yeah, but I have different people on all three of those things, so I don't want people on Facebook to not think I'm funny, They got
yeah.
to know too.
Well, let me ask a couple of questions. Were those people comedians that said that?
They were comedians,
And
yeah.
New York comedians?
They were a mix of New York and like Chicago and yeah, there was a lot of yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, New York is pretty judgmental.
I mean, LA is too, but I'm kind of more like bang for your buck, man. Like if you wrote those tweets and they're good, you screenshot them, you use them again, you post them in your stories. Who cares?
Who cares? I really do. I'm leaning into who cares. I for sure am. And you know what you find is a lot of the people who bitch about that stuff, as soon as it becomes something more popular, they start doing it anyway. So it's like you're just ahead of the curve.
Yeah, right? Like who cares? I just think you should always just do your own thing and not care. But I do get annoyed when people get so judgmental about stuff like that, like art stuff or content stuff, because it's like
True.
no one has the master plan. Like, do you
Yes.
better to post? Like, by all means, tell me. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so easy to nitpick stuff.
and
And
no
by
one's
the way, I meant to say I love what you're all about. The whole hot pizza ass thing. I for one struggle a lot with shit like that, and so with like the idea of doing what you want and eating like however you want, like not that that's exactly what you're trying to say, but like I am very into that idea because I deal a lot with I spend all day beating myself up about what I eat and whether I've worked out and blah blah blah, and so it's refreshing to have you on my feed saying fun stuff.
Whoa,
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so I didn't know that about you. Yeah, I feel like it's something that all of us go through. I mean, especially right now, like even in my last episode of the podcast, I was talking to my friend Mike Mendez, and at the end, he was asking me if I had pizza today, and I was like, no, because the first 2 weeks I ate all the pizza and I
yeah,
gained
yeah.
pounds. And then I realized I posted the episode of the podcast anyway. I didn't edit that out, but afterwards I was like, I probably shouldn't have said that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that's me reverting to my old behavior, judging myself, being like, I ate too much pizza, I gained weight, like, and I'm just like, why am I even at that place anymore? So it's like, it's a weird struggle that I think a lot of people deal with on their day to day. And it's just like, even if we don't talk about it, we think about it.
Oh yeah, I think about it all the time. It's like all I'm thinking about today is that I mean I was busy as hell today and I didn't work out. It's also been raining in LA, which really fucks me up because I what I like to do. I've gotten back into running since I've. This is the opposite of what we're just supposed to be talking about. But I've been getting back into running because of the quarantine stuff, and I'm just like bored and not being able to go to the gym and stuff, and I wasn't able to do that today, and it's all I've thought about, and I feel like shit, and it's I have to like let it go and go. I'm allowed to have a fucking day where I just don't do any of that shit, and where I have some pasta and it's fine.
Yeah, totally. I smashed like 3 pieces of pizza today.
Love it, love it. Where do you get your pizza from?
Okay, so my favorite pizza, like the one that I order that the one when I turn my mind off, I'm like, that's the pizza that I want, is always Joe's Pizza.
Sure, yes. I
That's like,
forgot that they have Joe's out here. There's the one on Sunset, right? Yeah. I saw that and I was like I was at the store one night and I was like shit, I have to go to that Joe's, and I didn't do it because it's also I have it all the time in New York, so
Mhm.
it feels kind of like not so it's like if I'm here I should have what pizza I like, and I think this is something probably pizza lovers will fucking hate
What?
is Mohawk Bend makes my favorite pizza in LA. It's I think it's like a cauliflower crust pizza. It's like vegan. It's like a vegan pizza, and it's called oh shit, what is it called? It's got like jalapenos. It's really spicy. Damn it, doesn't matter. It's like the hot. It's called the Angry Vegan, and it is so good. And it's also because I'm not vegan, but it's like it does feel a little better to eat it. But it's oh my god, it's incredible. It's got like serrano peppers on it. It's so good, but it feels like blasphemous to say that it's like my favorite
You
when
know,
I could in New York I have such good options.
I don't eat meat, so a lot of my pizza picks are veggie or vegan. But here's my problem with vegan pizza. I've said this a million times. I still eat cheese. And
Sure.
a lot of vegan pizzas, even though they can be really good, a lot of them don't have cheese. And if they
Yes.
do have cheese, I just don't like the vegan cheese.
Yeah,
So,
vegan cheese can be a little brutal. This one I like, but I'm also not even vegan, so or vegetarian, so it's like I will eat regular cheese usually. I try not to eat a ton of it just because of it like upsets my stomach, but
yeah.
I do love it. So this one, for whatever reason, I think I think it's worth a shot. I don't know if you're into spicy, but I'd love for you to try it. It's really good.
The angry vegan.
Called Angry Vegan at Mohawk Bend. Have you ever gone to the show Good Heroin?
Yes, I love that show.
It's right by that show. It's like right in Echo Park, and I've gone. I found that place after. I think I went to that place for the first time after I did Good Hair. It always sounds so stupid to say after I did Good Heroin, but after I was on the show Good Heroin, I went over there and we had because the bar they usually go to was packed, so we went there and had pizza and beers, and it was one of the best nights. Man, remember going outside and being around people?
I know. That's so weird. Have you been doing these like Zoom shows? Like what's your stance on not live comedy shows?
I have a lot of opinions on this stuff where I kind of get frustrated. It's kind of like what you were just saying about fuck, like what the people have all these judgments on doing this live shit. I don't love going live myself, but I think it's just because I'm not used to doing it and I don't really, it's just not where I shine. But I don't mind the live stream shows. I did one last night. Like I have my own live stream show where me, Shane Torres, Phoebe Bottoms, and Caitlin Cook have a show called Good God in Brooklyn when the world is normal. That's really fun. And we decided, what if we did it live stream every week? And it's been a great time. And I did my first set on it like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and I was really stressed out about it all day. And then I did it, and I was like, it was so fun to hang out with comics and to perform again. And we also have people who are on the Zoom feed who are there as an audience, so show again. And I love it. I had a great time, and it's not it's not the same as stand up, obviously, but it's close, and it's the closest thing we have, and I appreciate it. So I think a lot of people are really vocal online right now against it, and I think a lot of those people are afraid of it more than they are actually angry at it. And I think that they view it from a lens of like, why would I try that? You look so pathetic if you do that. And it's like they're not even doing it or watching it. And it's annoying. And I think it stifles creativity to come from that angle. But I also get that it's not for everybody. Like I said, it gave me a lot of anxiety to do it. But I've done a few of them now, and I think it's fun.
Yeah. I like going live, but I don't really like doing material on live
I
shows.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it 100% because you know what I've noticed, and it's because a lot of my material I try to make not feel like here's material, you know. So it's like if I do it in a way that doesn't feel like here's me performing, it doesn't feel as awkward. Like if I do the stuff that's been going on with me lately, and then after a minute or two of that, I slip into a joke I'd been working on, and I've even said on them, here's a joke I was working on before all this happened, and then it doesn't feel as gross. But I get it. I 100% get why somebody wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I before all of this, I'd been booked a couple times on this one show in Oregon that's on Twitch. And honestly, I have fun doing the show. Like I like that audience. They're super supportive and cool. But I always felt weird like doing my actual stuff to a non-audience.
Yes.
I
I
don't
haven't.
like can I just talk about like what I'm going through?
Yeah.
I just like kind of
The only thing that gets dicey with that, and the thing I've been trying to get ahead of, is at some point that's gonna be like, I think we're gonna be in this for a minute. So it's like at some point it's gonna be like, how long can I just talk about quarantine for? So it's like but it's also hard to. I've written like maybe one joke since all this has happened that's not about quarantine, and everything else is stuff that I was writing on the way into quarantine. So it's like, I don't know how this is gonna go. I think everybody's gonna be rusty as shit when it all comes down to it. But it's barely even about writing stand up. It's just about keeping your performer thing going and fulfilling whatever it is that makes us fucking want to do this anyway. And I don't know. I don't know if it's actually doing anything or not, but it feels nice to do it, and it feels nice to like see people and hang out with comics again. So, but my concern is that if I just talk about here's what I'm going through, it might start to get like, yeah, that's what we're all going through.
totally.
But who knows? Who knows? So I'm working on a podcast right now with Comedy Central where I just play stand up from the Comedy Central library, and I go through it, and it's been fun to like go through and listen to jokes that either are super relevant to the time period because a lot of the materials from like right after 9/11, or jokes that have nothing to do with it that are just stupid jokes. It's been nice to hear those kind of, because you're like, this exists in a vacuum, and I wish I wrote jokes like that.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the other thing I want to say too. Congratulations on that. I know the podcast is going really well, and that's also like a fun, positive thing, right? When in this time when everyone is so, I mean, stuck in a lot of ways. Congratulations. That's so cool. What are like the cool things that you're finding? Like, what's your favorite clip that you found so far?
I forgot how funny this one clip was. So I've been going back and like, I don't know if you've done this. I found myself reverting back to stuff that I was doing as a kid that I found comforting in quarantine. Like I've been listening to fucking Fall Out Boy and stuff. Like stuff that I used to do when I was like 19. I don't know. I'm finding it very comforting. Um, but I've been going back, and last night I watched an old like Zach Galifianakis' first half hour or his half hour. I watched Maria Bamford. That one meant a lot to me as a kid. Um, but the one that I really liked that took me by surprise, because I think I just forgot how funny this guy was, is Dan Mintz is really funny. He's from Bob's Burgers. He's I think he's Tina. Or wait, what's the mom's name? Shit. Linda. And he's the funniest person. He's a one-liner comic who's just super funny. And I'm gonna play some clips from him maybe this week because it's just been nice. But I don't know. I've gotten myself. I don't know. What are your like comfort things during all of this? What's your like happy place that you get into to like cope?
Champagne.
Sure, sure.
um,
Hey, I hear you. I've spent so much. I've spent more money on alcohol than food, I think, during this time, which is maybe not good, but it has been nice.
I've definitely been so when this whole thing started back in early March, I was like, I'm not going to drink for the whole month of March because at the end of the March I was going to New York. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go to New York, I'm going to party, I'm going to go do my thing, whatever, blah blah blah, and have a great time, and I'm going to be sober up until that point. Then of course this happens mid-March, and I'm like, fuck sobriety,
Yep.
I am going to drink. So that whole first week, I was drinking wine like every night with meals and stuff like that. And then St. Patrick's Day happened, and I was like, I'm still gonna celebrate. And so I'm drinking like whiskey on an IG live and stuff like that. And then I had my first hangover in quarantine, and my only hangover in quarantine. Thank
Oh
God.
my God. Hangover in quarantine is the worst thing because you think you have corona. Like I've been in it. I
Yes.
thought I had corona for the whole day, and I don't even remember what it was that I did that got me that. I'm sure I just had too much whiskey one night, and then I don't remember why I did this, but I just drank too hard one day. Maybe I was like doing a live thing with some friends. I don't remember, but because it feels almost it's so stupid when you're serving yourself
Oh my
to
God.
get hungover.
Can I just tell you, okay, this is and the worst thing about drinking in quarantine like that to the point where you're hung over as an adult. Like, this
Yeah.
is embarrassing. There's no good story to go with it. Like, my story for my St. Patrick's Day hangover was I was doing Instagram Live, and my friend, who's not a tarot card reader, just busts out the tarot cards and starts reading me my animal spirit messages of wolves and coyotes and eagles. And that is what got me so excited to where I'm like, let's drink more whiskey. And that is literally how I ended up with a hangover. So my story is awful. It's embarrassing as shit that that's what I was doing on St. Patrick's Day. And the next day I woke up and it's like, you can't even get fresh air. Well, you can go on walks, but still, you know what I mean? I was like, oh my gosh, this sucks. Like, the hangover and the quarantine feels real awful on so
It's
many
so
levels.
bad because you're stuck in it. It feels like you've had a Manchester by the Sea type hangover, which
Yeah.
is like that's the worst hangover. I don't know if you've seen that movie, but that's the
Yeah.
worst hangover where you've murdered your family with fire. But it does feel like that, where you're just like stuck in the situation. You're stuck in the same room you did this to yourself in. You're like
Yeah.
you can see all the same scenery and you just feel stupid. I remember one of the times I felt a little hungover. It was because so me and my girlfriend are quarantined in the room that you're looking at right now, and she goes to bed a little bit before me. I don't like to wake her up by turning lights on, but what I do, my happy place in this is watching I have to watch stand up for the job, but like I would have been doing that or listening to podcasts anyway. And then I've been playing either NBA 2K or a game called Rocket League. This is so boring to you. I'm sorry. I know. But Rocket League is a game where you play soccer with cars. And I do that. And then I have a little whiskey on the side. But I wanted to go pour myself some whiskey, but I had no lights on because I didn't want to wake my girlfriend up. And so I just poured blindly. And then I got back to my seat in front of the TV. And the glow of the TV, I could see that it was way too heavy of a pour. And I was like, I still have to drink it, I guess. And I made myself hungover drinking something I didn't even want, and just because I was like, I poured it, I guess I have to have it. It's a sad existence.
I mean, my other comfort thing that I'm doing is cooking, which I normally don't really have time to do in my regular life. But it is something that interests me. I do like food. I'm interested in learning about food. However, I'm never like, yeah, I just want to like cook a dinner. Like, I'm normally kind of the type of person that's like, I kind of want to just like get outside and be social or whatever, just like grab a slice of pizza, something like that. But like this time, now that we're indoors, I'm using it as a like creative outlet, as a hobby, as something to do, which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? Because I'm just like, this is fun. I love food. I'm making all this pasta. Like it's just been this whole like culinary like experience. I guess I'll emerge out of this somewhat of a chef, not a good one, but like a chef.
That's great though. You're better. I appreciate people doing good stuff during this too, because I do believe I saw this post like before it was becoming a consistent post, but I saw this great post of like everybody's trying to write their memoir and all this shit during all this, and it's okay if you do nothing because this is a tough time. But I do appreciate people trying and like learning. So like I'm trying to get back into long distance running, and like I shower every day. That's one thing I think everybody is always like, I'm not showering for fucking 2 weeks. It's like you can shower. Showering is free and it makes you feel better immediately. I don't understand why people don't want to shower, but it's good. I like it, but anyway, yeah, I've been busier than I've been I'm busier now than I was pre-quarantine, which is kind of tough. I like want one of those days where I'm like not busy at all.
With the podcast and with
It's that I have I have a writing job still that just picked back up. That I am in, that's why I'm in LA. It's kind of crazy because right now there's this weird drama with people vacating New York where people are fleeing New York because it's so scary there, and I almost want to post like, by the way, I was already in LA, I didn't flee, like because it's kind of a bad thing to do. I mean, I understand why people are doing it, but it's a bad thing to do to flee New York right now because you are in the most infested place, and you can take it and spread it to places you're going to. But
Right.
I've been in LA since January, so I'm like, I hope people don't think it's like this. A lot of comics are posting like, if you fucking left, we're not counting you anymore as a New York comedian. New York comics are very proud of being in New York. But right now it's so scary there that I get it. Like I'm probably gonna be here till June or July at this point because it's so scary to go there. It seems like.
Yeah. How are your friends doing? Is your family there? You're not from New York,
No,
right?
I'm not from New York. I'm from Indiana. So, but my mom is a nurse practitioner now, so she's in danger. My sister is actually here now, which is nice. And then all my brothers are in Indiana, and then one of them's in Kentucky, and my other sister's in Indiana. Sorry, this is a whole family tree that you didn't ask for, but yeah, nobody else is in New York except for my dear friends and my cats, but everybody else is out.
And so, how are your friends doing? Like, what's the scene? I only know because the news. Like, I have very few friends in New York.
They all say it's pretty fucking scary and weird, and like it seems to be getting more tense by the day. I think with the death numbers rising, like I don't want to talk about it too much because it's depressing. So I've
Yeah.
been really trying to avoid. I mean, I keep in touch with all of my New York buds, but it's scary. It's really when they. I mean, when they when the NBA stopped, I was like, this is about to get very scary, and then one by one things started getting weirder and weirder. I'm just shocked that the subway's still going, even though I know why it is. But it's like it's crazy that people still have to take it, but it's just the way it is. I have a car in New York that I tried to lend my buddy because I was like, if you need it, I know I don't want you to be like walking around outside. But he was like, I barely have to go outside anyway. Ugh. But yeah, LA is a much better place to be, it seems.
Yeah, I feel you. My boyfriend writes. He covers the NBA. So the day that the NBA shut down, he was like, "Shit's about to get real, Erin. Like we are quarantining now." So we started early, like before the LA's official lockdown and stuff like that. So that's kind of when we started, like, getting all the groceries and making sure that we had stuff. I, bought all my dogs food for like 3 months, like all of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right, like within a couple of days, that's kind of like what I feel like the NBA had like a really big like shift pop culture speaking wise, in how we all saw the severity of all of this, and then after that, I feel like in California, at least, it's been kind of like smooth sailing. I feel like we've been doing a good job over here in California.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like California's done a great job with it. My job shut down, I feel like a little later than most things, but also we have a small staff. And then we worked from home for a week, and then all of a sudden it was like, this is dead right now because for at least a while because production can't happen. And I'm so curious when this stuff is actually going to end, but
Yeah.
and what it's going to look like because I mean, one, there's production on TV shows, but also like I'm so curious about stand up. Like, there were so many, like it's so weird to look at my calendar right now and like I was supposed to be in Vegas right now and it's like I can't even believe that I thought that was going to happen. Like, I thought that way too late. I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It just seems like a whole different world. Oh yeah, did you see that they extended it till May 15th now?
I did see that. That's why I'm saying. I think we'll be here till at least June now. I was supposed to go. I had stuff lined up show wise, and then uh, obviously that shit all fell apart. But it's like I'm still paying New York rent while living here, and like I'm lucky that I still have income coming in for right now. But it's you know pretty scary. And
Yeah.
I was like, it's so funny because I've loved being in LA and it's fun and the weather's so much better and like I love like the family we have out here, but I was like so happy to be going back to New York and then right as I was about to go, this all happened and it is crazy.
Oh, well, welcome. I mean, you're going to be with us for a little bit longer here.
I know, but it's such
Stay.
a bet. It's so much. So lucky to be here instead. Yeah, and now I'm just gonna, try to eat. I have to find pizza places over here to order from. It's so funny. Like I've been eating really healthy because my girlfriend's family eats really healthy, and that's who we're with right now. That's who we've been with during the quarantine times, and I've just been like dreaming about the meals I'm gonna order for like as soon as I can that are not
What's,
healthy at all.
what's the
What's
first
that?
bad meal?
What's that?
What's the first bad meal you're going to order?
Oh, I mean, honestly, probably some kind of pizza or just a whole burrito. I love burrito. I'm a big Mexican food fan, and
Hmm?
that's probably first if it's in LA. Although, just some form, I'm not kidding. I would order a Domino's pizza right now, and that would be great. I'd be happy with that.
I feel like Domino's has really stepped up their game.
They
Like,
have. I was gonna ask you this: are you like a pizza? Like, are you a snob? Like, not. And I don't use the word snob. Like, you'd be like an asshole to not like Domino's. I just mean, are you picky about pizza? Is what I should say.
I am picky about pizza just because like I don't eat certain things, right? Like I said, I don't eat meat, so I'm kind of like I'm picky about what's on the pizza, but I'm not really picky about where it comes from. Like if pizza's good, it's good. Like period.
Sure. What is your ideal pizza? Not from place, but just topping. Do you just like straight up cheese? Is that your favorite, or like, is there
No.
a specific top?
Okay, so my favorite, like from Joe's Pizza, I always order the grandma. The grandma pie is my
I
favorite.
love their grandma.
Oh, so
It's so
good.
good.
I was just asking, I was like trying to figure out like what is the best thing about the grandma? Is it the cheese or is it the sauce? Like why is it so good?
I don't know. I think there's something about the thickness of the bread that makes the grandma good too. I don't know. There's something there, and I think the way that it's shaped really helps how it's baked because I like crispy a lot, and the places I go to in New York, whenever I get a grandma, I feel like the ends are a little crispier, which I like. But it's funny. I stopped ordering grandmas because in my neighborhood in Brooklyn, they're like more expensive for less pizza, and it really drives me crazy because the slices in New York are so big. as they are just. And I just love a buffalo chicken. I could eat a buffalo chicken slice every day.
I like that. I like the sauce that they use on buffalo chickens. I do miss that. Chicken wings is one of the few things I miss about eating meat. That's for sure. Yeah, and I love that sauce. So I totally feel you on that. But no, if I pick my toppings, like if I customize the pizza, my favorite thing is veggies, like with all the veggies that they have, and jalapeno and pineapple. So I'm
Hell
like,
yeah. Ooh, jalapeno and pineapple. You're crazy.
I am.
I love it. I know like this is a long debate that me and my buddy were having because at the job we had before all this shit happened, we had a meal like a lunch wheel that every day we would spend to see where we ate lunch. And on Fridays we ate pizza, and we disagreed with everybody on the types of pizza we liked. My ideal pizza is just one oh my god, one time in my hometown I got to do this at a restaurant. Like there was a contest at our hometown pizza place. It's called Avers in Bloomington, Indiana, and it's so good. But they let you create your own pizza to like have like everybody could have it on the menu. Like people could just order it. And there was a contest for like I think it was on Facebook like 10, 11 years ago. And it was like most likes or something got to be a pizza. And I posted this one, and I think it was just pepperoni, jalapeno, and feta cheese. And I think it's the best pizza I've ever had. And I created it, so I'm biased, and it won. But it won for a reason. It's so fucking good. But just jalapeno and feta, I think would be just as good to me. Pepperoni doesn't even really add that much to me, to be totally honest. Unless it's like Prince Street Pizza in New York, they do the tiny ones, and it's so good.
Okay, I gotta check that out. When I make it back there, I gotta go to Prince Street.
Prince Street Pizza is so good. It's like I think better than Joe's. There's another place that I think that people talk about. Oh my God, there's this place in Greenpoint. When you go to New York, hit me up. That I have plenty of recs for you. I'm sure lots of people do, but there's some really good. There's such good pizza in New York. But anyway, what have you been doing? Have you felt satisfied like as a performer during all this time?
Yeah, kind of, but in weird ways. Like I feel like I've been writing, I've been
What
podcasting.
when you say you've been writing, like what type of whenever people say they've been writing, I like to ask just because I remember before I did stand up and even for the first 5 years of stand up when people told me they were writing, I had this picture in my head that made me insane, that made me feel like I wasn't doing anything because I just pictured them writing a novel every day, and I was like, fuck, I'm not writing enough. And then it all equaled out in the end. But like, what does your writing look like?
Well, okay, so
Sorry,
I'm
I
not.
feel like I'm interviewing you now, and I didn't mean to do that.
No, I love it.
I'm such in podcaster mode now because I had to record all day.
It's perfect. No, I've been writing. I wrote an animated series. I wrote an
Holy
animated.
shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, about my dog. So I wrote like an animal animated thing. So like that's the type of writing I've been doing. Stuff like that, scripts. I'm not really feeling super inspired. I feel like a lot of the times with stand up, like the way that I write the ideas kind of just come to me randomly, but a lot of the times they come to me because of stuff that I see, interactions that I have, things I overhear spark an idea, and I don't have that kind of stimulation right now.
So true.
So I'm
That's
just
such a good point.
now, yeah, writing other stuff, which I'm totally okay with and I'm totally having fun with. So like I'm just grateful for anything. So I guess like as a performer, I don't really know if I'm like 100% inspired, but like as a personality, like talking and creating other shit, I do feel pretty good. How are you feeling?
I go back and forth on it where it's like I have two podcasts that I do, and one of them is fun because it's like it lets me be almost like a stand-up DJ, which is maybe the worst description of all time of anything. God, imagine just telling people you're I'm a DJ, but like for stand-up comedy, that's maybe the grossest thing. Like that's more pathetic than a regular DJ. But like that feels like a Raya profile that people just without seeing a face, they just swipe left on. Anyway, yeah, I'm like I get to like stand-up DJ though, and it's fun because I'm obsessed with stand-up, so it's very fun for me to be able to do that as a comedy fan, and it's like it gives me something to fill my time and make it feel like I'm doing something while I'm just watching stand up, which is nice. But my other podcast, it's we listen to stupid music and talk about it, and so those that doesn't necessarily make me feel like I'm being the most creative I've ever felt, but it is nice. I have found that it's nice to talk to people. It's just making me feel good to like be face to face with people and like have chats and just have some sort of connection with people has been nice. But I on my writing job just started back up this week, and we do next week too. On those weeks, it doesn't feel like I'm being creative because I'm just writing for this show. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm being personally creative. But
Yeah.
on the times that I'm not doing that, I have felt like I've been writing a little bit more, but it's kind of comforting to have this time where I do feel like if I don't write whatever, it's okay. This is the sad truth. I feel like I've been tweeting more.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, you've been writing, like, your Twitter jokes are good. Like, you're writing Twitter content, but it's so topical to what we're going on right now that maybe like it doesn't feel like writing. But like for me, as someone that sees them, I'm like, oh, this is really good shit. It's super funny and entertaining. So you are providing like a service.
Oh, thank you.
People to read
That makes
it.
me feel that will make me feel like I've done something when I
You
tweet from now.
did. I mean,
But
you
it
have.
does feel like you're conserving. Doesn't it feel like I don't know, like I don't know how you feel about social media stuff, but it feels like social media feels like I'm this little squirrel, and I'm putting if I have a tweet that day that I feel like I'll like save up a tweet for the day because I know that I need that little bump in my serotonin, seeing the likes go up. So it's like I'm hoarding tweets in my little squirrel mouth, and I then if I post it on Instagram, I can stretch it a little more, and it's really it's only out of like I need some sort of bump. I guess social media, like not like for numbers or anything. It's just for my own brain. I know that I'm gonna want that serotonin bump, so it's like I have to write something just for that, and that like it's a weird system that I feel like I'm in.
Do
Does that
you
make sense? I don't know if that makes any sense.
know it does? Do you look at Twitter content as like throwaway content, or do you ever like test ideas that you might develop into some sort of stand up later?
I absolutely do test it for stand up, and I used to do a thing. I haven't been able. I like. I haven't. Obviously, there's been quarantine and all this shit, but even before that, I didn't have time to go to open mics while I've been in LA. And even when I was in New York, it was like uh, I was mostly like at the Comedy Cellar or like shows in Brooklyn or whatever, or New York Comedy Club or Stand Up New York, and it was tough to go to open mics. But if I ever had that urge of like I need to try out a new bit, I would look through my Twitter because I was like, there's probably something to some of these ideas. And the bit that's been working for me the best right leading up into quarantine was something I tweeted and forgot about, and I just dug through my Twitter. It's like looking through a shitty notebook. It's like looking through a notebook where you just wrote down the one line of an idea and you're like, oh, maybe there's something there, as opposed to writing out the whole thing. But I don't know. I don't know how many of your listeners are interested in, the inner workings of stand-up comedy. But I have a buddy who I get really jealous of when it comes to writing, where I know that he free writes in a notebook, and then he takes that notebook and then he digs through it, and then he finds the premises in that notebook, and then that's another notebook that he has that's all the premises that he dug through, and then he goes through that notebook and he writes those jokes, the ones that are good he writes out in a third notebook. It's this 3 notebook system that I've always been very jealous of, and I don't feel like I'm writing because I'm not doing that. But sometimes tweets are writing.
Yeah, that's so funny. I'm like that's like kind of what I do. Like I free write and then I have an essay and then I try to look back later, see if there's anything in that essay that I like. And then I have like 2 sentences. But like I used to, it's so funny. I found this notebook that I have from 2015 that is just next to me right now for some reason. But like I used to, look at how nerdy I was. I would time code my jokes. I would write like, I would do something on stage. I would listen to it back. I would time code how long they took, how long the bits took.
Yes.
That's all. Like, so I would have an idea, like if I needed to do like a specific 5 minutes, or if I need to put like a 7-minute something on tape, I would have a way to kind of like gauge how long these bits were taking me. And then I would write down notes of how they went, if I did new tags, if I tried a new opener, like.
This is great though, because you were your own like Conan producer. You know, like when that's exactly what they do to you when you submit for late night. Is they go, all right, well this bit was a minute and 12. How do you cut that down? And here's the notes on that. And it's like you're already doing it to yourself, which is the best way to do it, I think. And realistically, it's like I think what people don't want to acknowledge is that stand-up comedy is fucking nerdy. Like it is nerdy at some point to write a joke, to perform it in front of people, and that's why everybody does I think a lot of the comedians that we all like, Chappelle and the people who we look at who were like, man, they seem so natural. It's not natural. It's not really natural. It's fake naturality. And anytime it seems natural, it's because they were able to get good at performing it. Almost all of my act is written in some way or another, even if it feels natural at any point, because I wrote it to feel natural. And it's like, that's not totally true, because it's like sometimes it is. I do feel like LA is more natural. And this is a theory I have that, again, may be boring as shit to the listeners, and I apologize. I'm very much in stand-up comedy mode because of the other podcast, but I have a theory that in New York there's kind of and also in a lot of clubs there's a feeling of like, get to the point, get to the joke really fast. LA feels way more laid back and chilled a little bit, where it's like I feel like if I jump into material immediately, there's almost a feeling of like, hey, who the fuck is this guy? Chill out, buddy. So I've learned to like open with something I've never said before, and I always do better here when I do that, because people want to feel like you are on your toes and like just talking, or like that you're cool in some way. I don't know. That could be crazy, but and again, that's non-club sets. Like I feel like if I do like cool shows, you have to like enter in softly and go like, yeah, here's a thing that happened to me today, then go into material, because it's feeling natural is everything, but this whole thing is not cool and we're full of shit.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I've been actually like, my head has been in that space too recently a lot for many reasons, thinking about all this kind of stuff. And like the thing that you said about kind of like having like a soft open, kind of like just not going straight to a joke, I think I think you're right. Like in LA, I do notice that too. But yeah, I've also found that if I start my set with like really short, quick jokes, I quickly get people on board than if I start with like a story. So it's like this weird balance of kind of like, yeah, like, hi, this is me. Like, I'm a real person. But I'm now going to tell you some jokes so you know I can tell jokes. And then, do you trust me? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to tell you a longer joke.
Absolutely. You're so right that if you want to start with story, or there's a whole other theory, like there's another level that you can just do whatever the fuck you want because you're already at that level, where you could just open with story and go, hey, catch up to me. But I think a lot of the shows we're doing, people are, if they don't know who you are when you show up, I think a lot of people are like, prove it or else I'm not going to listen. So they both want to see that you're cool and not desperate for their attention. It's like fishing. You're like I don't want to seem too desperate, so you can't hit him over the head with the lure, but you have to go like, oh, I'm kind of cool. So the lure's right in front of him, and then and then you go, and now here's the bait, here's a real joke, and then they bite, and then you can do whatever you want. Did that make any sense?
No,
Just talking
totally.
out
No,
my ass,
I
but I do
know.
think everything that I just said. But again, this is stand-up nerd shit that I feel bad for non-comedians who listen to me talk sometimes because I hope it's not too nerdy.
But here's the thing. I feel like anyone that listens to this episode, they're gonna know what you do. They're gonna probably know what I do. And they're gonna make that choice to listen to it and commit to it.
Sure.
Yeah.
But but yeah. I have other stuff that I can talk about. I don't know why I've delved so deeply into this dumb shit. I have a life and stuff.
I mean,
But
does
yeah,
anyone right now though? I feel like no one
good
has a life.
point.
So all
That
we
is
have
kind of nice that we're on this equalizer plane right now, where all of us. I think that incels created this disease because they wanted us all to feel what it's like to be like them, where they just want us to know what it's like to have no social life and like be stuck inside and play video games all day.
well, yeah, I mean, I'm almost there. I'm about to start playing The Sims again.
Get in there. I love The Sims. I miss this. I gotta get The Sims.
Me too. I
I
miss.
used to be obsessed with The Sims. Were you really into The Sims?
Yes.
Dude, I had a cousin when I was a kid. I had a cousin who was like richer than us. We were like a poor family, and then my cousin's dad was my uncle was a lawyer, and so my cousin had a computer before the rest of us, and she had The Sims, and I couldn't believe it. I like saw. I just was watching her play. I wasn't even playing. I was watching her play, and I go, I can't fucking believe this is real. I can't believe you can like create people and control what they do. It blew my mind. And the second we were able to get it, I was obsessed. I would play like 6 hours a day when I could. It was I think probably the first thing I was like legitimately addicted to. And I need to get back in. Like I would create I remember one time I created like did you create like your crushes and stuff?
Yes, and I would try to make me. I'd be like, "This is what I'm gonna look like when I'm grown up," and yeah.
Yes. And then if they wouldn't marry you, you'd be like, "What the fuck? I created you."
And then I would always like do the cheat codes and make myself really, really rich. And then I would build the house that I wanted. And then
Yes.
like would always burn down. And then your person's like doing this move and the that was always awful. Did you ever like when a fire happened at night or something and then your
Oh
sim
yeah.
died and you have to look up at them and
Tragedy.
just like
They're doing that weird rave dance.
and then they
Yeah.
do this and you're like, ah! Like
They're
it's
so
awful.
scared, and you just gotta watch it. I gotta get back into
Do
that sim.
anything. Yeah, you just have to sit there and you're like, oh my God, I just used like 5 million cheat codes to build this house. It's burning down. My people are in it. Like this
And
couple
you're like doing
that
all
we
this
created and
design.
have sex and have a child. Like you're just like, God, this is what God feels like watching us like fuck up.
Oh yeah, God right now is probably just watching us like shaking our like, ah! And he's like, oh shit, I probably should have given him a ladder to get out of the pool or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. When you take the ladder out and they drown, that's freaking awful. Okay, so am I absolutely dumb right now, or am I just now putting together the fact that the Sims stands for simulation? The
Yeah,
Sim-
that's got to be what it
is
is,
that
right?
okay?
Yeah, that is it.
I'm not absolutely dumb for realizing this right
I
now.
think that will be up to history to decide, but
Oh well. But God, I
sure.
mean, God, this is so crazy. It's a crazy time we're living in, but like I'm always grateful to be able to connect with people and chat about stuff. And it sounds like you have a lot of really cool stuff going on right now.
Yeah, it's good. It's this thing where it's like I feel so stupid that I feel so guilty right now that I like have a job. And I don't have like a, it's not like things are great, but I'm lucky to have work right now at a time where a lot of people don't. And I it's weird because while other people are like, I'm doing a puzzle. It's like, I wrote in my phone the other night. I was high and I wrote I I needed to remember that I wanted a puzzle because I have been looking for things to do before the writing job came back. But like I'm very lucky that I have shit to fill my day, but it's gonna run out next week and I'm just like dreading it because I'm like I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do because I've already made. Here's the purgatory that I'm in, and it's such a lame thing to bitch about. Is the internet at this place is brutal, and so I can't play video games with my friends online. I can barely like there's a little glitches whenever I talk to people, and like when we do my podcast, it cuts off constantly because the internet just goes out or whatever. And it's this weird purgatory. If I have all the time in the world, I won't have anybody. Like I'll have like my girlfriend and her family, but it's like I won't have my like friends to do anything with, and I won't have like the entertainment that I'm gonna have to read a book. And my
You're,
whole goal this whole quarantine was to not read any books. If I have to read a book, I lost.
you're gonna have to start playing tabletop games.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably gonna get Jackbox. Have you done that yet?
No, what is that?
I
That's
know
scary.
that sounds. I know. I think it's like tabletop games that you play with your friends. It's like an app that if one person has it, everybody can play via Zoom or whatever. But I don't totally understand it.
Oh. Yeah, see, I was invited to trivia night via Zoom, and I was like, no.
No, are you?
No,
You're not a game person though, right?
I'm really not a game person. See, I would rather read. So I guess I'm
I
just
see.
like a straight up nerd, really. I mean, I don't.
No, no. I think that gaming is the nerds and reading is the new cool because I definitely don't feel good about the fact that I with the way that I've been made is that I enjoy games that also upset me. So it doesn't really make any sense. I think God made a mistake and JK. Anyway, yeah. We'll figure,
Oh
I'm
my.
sure I'll figure some way out. I am straight up gonna get into puzzles, which I don't know how I haven't done a puzzle since I think the last time I did a puzzle I was like 8. So maybe I love them. I don't know. I haven't tried it in a while.
You
I'm
should
really
Amazon
getting weird with it.
one. I almost Amazoned one the first week. I was like, you know what? Let's do a puzzle. And now I'm like, you know what? I'm so glad I did not pull the trigger on the puzzle.
I think that Amazon though, I don't know. I don't trust it to bring me my puzzle. So I feel because I ordered a yoga mat and I haven't gotten that yet. And I feel like I'm not gonna get this puzzle if I order it. They burned me once. I don't get me wrong, I do support Jeff Bezos. It's just Amazon I'm not into.
I feel like
I've been Venmoing Jeff Bezos, but I don't but I don't I'm kidding. I don't, you're looking at me like I'm saying I hate Jeff Bezos. But I love the guy who loves Jeff Bezos but does not support Amazon.
I mean, I was so on the fence about Jeff until he donated like $100 million to COVID. Then I was like, all right, Jeff, you won me back over because your
About time he does
workers out
something.
here just like holding down the American economy right now. Like, what would we be doing if there wasn't Netflix, Amazon, like
I have no
HBO?
idea. What are you watching right now? Like what are the shows getting you through it?
Okay, so I've been watching Gossip Girl. I never watched that. I never watched it during its time, which is weird because I probably seem like someone that would love Gossip Girl. Did not ever get into it. I also never got into Jane the Virgin. That's good. It's like a
I've
telenovela.
heard that's really good. My
Yeah.
girlfriend likes that show. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been getting into like that a little bit. I started watching The Outsider on HBO, which really
I've
did
heard that's
not.
good.
It wasn't
It
that
didn't do
exciting.
it for you? Yeah.
No, and I've been watching horror movies. I watched Midsummer. I love horror
Dude, I
movies.
watched Midsummer too, and
Okay.
I gotta tell you, So I thought it was really good. I fucking hate scary movies. I don't know what I was thinking because I go to bed almost every night dreaming that my girlfriend is gonna do that to me. That I'm just gonna burn in a fucking house with a bunch of
Fair.
Swedes or whatever. And I didn't do anything, but he didn't really mean to either. He's just a dumbass. That guy in it is so frustrating, and like it is a really good movie, and it's beautiful, but it's like I just fucking hate horror, and I think it's a bad idea. I'm not gonna watch any more horror during any of this time
Oh
because
God.
I go to here's what happens is I often smoke before bed to put myself to sleep, and I don't I can't help myself but to think about what I like the horror stuff. If I do that, I don't know what it is about my brain. I was part of like there was a part of me. I was raised like partially Southern Baptist, and I think that I feel some sort of guilt whenever I smoke. So it's like I can't help but go into like horror mode and think of things that I deserve if first I don't know, but anyway, I think about Midsummer almost every night before bed, and it's been 2.5 3 weeks since I watched it. Having said that, it was good.
Yeah, that's a good movie, really. If you thought about it for that long. That's what I've been getting into, though, really. I should probably, I think there was one other thing I was trying to watch, but like, I don't remember what it was. I feel like I'm trying to just catch up on things. Oh, I watched Paddington last night.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I've only seen Paddington 2 and I loved it, but I haven't seen
Paddington
The
2.
Ridge.
Okay, Paddington 2 might be better than Paddington 1,
That's
but
what I
they're
heard
both
people say,
amazing.
so it's like I watched that one for that reason.
I mean, I just love how Paddington 2 Act 2 all occurs in jail. It's kind of amazing. But Paddington 1, Nicole Kidman is the villain. So,
What?
yes,
That Australian motherfucker. I love it.
she's amazing. So, that's a good
I love
watch.
her.
That's my watch list. So,
You
that's
know
my.
what? I think that everybody should do this right now is watch The Sopranos. I had never seen it before. I'm watching it right now. I fucking love it, and it's a great time to get into it because there's a there is a storyline where one of the characters has to stay inside, and it feels like it feels a lot like this, and it's also just a great fucking show. I mean, it's so good. I can't believe I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, see, I haven't either. So, thank you for the recommendation. I'm going to get into The Sopranos now.
Oh, I'm telling you, we've been having a great time. The first season I've heard is tough to get through. I loved it, but I just started the second season. I fucking love the show. It's so good, and I think you'll like it. If you like Italian food, it's like a love story to Italian food too.
Perfect. 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 All right, Tom. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I don't want to keep you all night. I know you're
Oh
super
no, thanks so much
busy.
for having me.
Yes. So tell us about all your podcasts where people can listen to them and catch up on what you're doing.
Yeah, so my new podcast is on Comedy Central. It's called Stand Up with Tom Thakkar, and it's so fun. And people have been giving so much good feedback to it that I love. Where I get to pick my favorite. I'm a super comedy nerd, as you've heard on this fucking show, and I feel so guilty about it. I forget where I'm at sometimes, and I apologize. But I am a comedy nerd through and through and a comedy performer. And I talk about my favorite comedy and I get to play my favorite comedy clips. And it's really fun. And it's on Comedy Central. It's on Apple Podcast. It's pretty much wherever you get podcasts. Stand Up with Tom Thakkar. And my other podcast is called Stand By Your Band, where we have comedians defend music they like that people make fun of them for enjoying. Like Fall Out Boy is a great example, or like Nickelback or whatever. If people like that, we like to have them come on and we listen, we hear them out, and we talk about the music and we talk about the band. It's really fun. We gotta have you on sometime. It's
Yeah.
super fun.
Has anyone
Do you have
done,
any music that you're into that sucks, or
yeah.
not that sucks that people make fun of?
Has anyone done Coheed and Cambria yet?
No, I don't think anybody has done Coheed and
Well, I'm
Cambria.
going to do it.
Hell yeah. I should say I'm not coming into this as like judgment. I'm the one who I like Bare Naked Ladies and like fucking Coldplay. So I'm the villain. I'm the person. Tommy McNamara, my co-host, I feel like is much more judgmental of music than me. I am very much the person who liked the music that inspired this podcast. Anyways, we got that, and then yeah, check out my Comedy Central half hour. It is the thing I'm probably the most proud of, and I'm so psyched that you watched it. Yeah, those are the things I think, and yeah, if the movie show on Sci-Fi is what I'm writing on, if it ever comes out.
Awesome, cool. I hope it does. All right, thank you so much, Tom.
Thanks so much, Erin. Sorry about my internet again. I hope this all turns out fine sound-wise, but it's
gonna
brutal.
be great. No worries.
All right, you're the best. Thanks so much for having me.
Bye.
All right, bye.